First at 4, emotions are running high in two cities ravaged by mass shootings. Protests greet President Trump as he aims to play comforter in chief. Sean.
Karen, we are live this afternoon at 4 here in Lincoln Park for a barricaded gun woman situation. You can hear the siren behind me. Police trying to diffuse this situation. We have a live report coming up next.
And this officer of the peace needs just a little piece of your time to hear his story and how you can help keep him on the job. It's a very moving live report coming up. Hi, Ben.
Paula, not everybody stayed warm and dry today, but everybody's going to be in for a fantastic weekend. We'll show you how long it lasts right now. First at 4.
Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. We start with breaking news right now, and an entire Metro Detroit neighborhood on edge as police deal with a barricaded situation. Let's get right to Sean Lay. He's at the scene. Sean, exactly where are you and what's the latest?
Karen, I just misspoke. Not Lincoln Park. It's Allen Park right here on Luana, just north of Ecorse. You can see the police activity behind me. The area here on Luana essentially on lockdown right now. We have a woman, police just confirmed to us, armed with what they're calling a long gun or an AR-15 style weapon. She is barricaded in her home right behind us right now. We can tell you also, as we show you some video of the scene here, the past hour to 90 minutes or so, what brought police here was a frantic call to 911 from a young mom who lives right across the street here. She says the woman allegedly threatened her with that weapon, accusing her of stealing her purse. Now, the woman says that, of course, did not happen. Police told that mom to take her 2 young kids and go right to the basement until police came and got her. Just moments ago, Allen Park police reached that mom. They were able to remove her from her home safely. The mom and her kids are at the Allen Park Police Department with family. The woman across the street inside the home with the gun, the police have confirmed, has no cell phone, no landline. So right now they're on the loudspeaker saying, please come out and speak to us. We want this to end safely. Members of her family also are here trying to get word to her to also come out safely. We just spoke to one of those family members. We'll be talking to him live at 5 o'clock. Karen, that's what's happening right now. A tense situation where neighbors and businesses told to stay indoors while this unfolds.
All right, a very frightening situation, especially for that mother and those children that were hiding in the basement. Good to know that they're out safely, though. Thank you, Sean. We'll keep us posted. We will check back with you tonight at 5 or earlier if there are new developments. We also do have some breaking news from El Paso, Texas, as President Trump heads to another city ravaged by a mass shooting. It's been an extraordinary situation in both Texas and Ohio. The president arrived in Dayton earlier today. While supporters did greet him, there were also protesters, making it clear his visit was not welcome. The president and First Lady visiting both cities where gunmen struck this weekend, leaving a total of 31 people dead. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom with more on this very emotional day in both cities. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Usually, when the commander-in-chief visits a city hit by tragedy, politics is pushed to the side. But this week, it seems that's become nearly impossible. The president said he planned to meet with first responders, law enforcement, and some of the victims in both cities. But it was clear from these protests that his visit was stirring strong emotions in Dayton, where feelings are still very raw, as you can imagine, as so many people continue to grieve. Before leaving the White House, the president had this to say. Listen.
So my critics are political people. They're trying to make points. In many cases, they're running for president and they're very low in the polls.
Well, in the end, there were no photo ops in Dayton. Cameras were not allowed as the president met with those affected by the shooting. He boarded Air Force One to head to El Paso. The mayor of Dayton did meet with the president and left him with one critical message.
I don't know if he will take action. I'm hoping for the people of Dayton that he does. But we, both the senator and I spoke very directly what we've been saying the whole time about the need for common sense gun legislation.
And earlier today, the president said he believes there's a, quote, strong appetite in Washington for action on background checks. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has prevented any action in the Senate on new gun laws. Right now, the pressure is growing on all politicians to do something. Karen will, of course, continue to monitor things and keep you posted. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Kim. The first person other than Larry Nassar convicted in a sweeping sex abuse scandal has been sentenced. A jury convicted William Strample of misconduct in office and neglect of duty back in July. He was the dean of Michigan State University's College of Osteopathic Medicine and was supposed to oversee Dr. Larry Nassar. Prosecutors said Strample abused his power to take advantage of female students. One of those students spoke before he was sentenced.
This all happened on the very first day he had ever met me. I have to ask, why was he so confident in thinking he could get away with talking about these things with me in a professional academic setting? And it makes me wonder how many other people he has done this to in order for him to have gained this much confidence in thinking that he could get away with it.
William Strample was sentenced to 1 year in Ingham County Jail. The 2019 race for mayor of Warren is now down to 2 candidates. It is the first time Mayor Jim Fouts will stand before voters since a series of controversies erupted over the past few years. Fouts won 58% of the vote in yesterday's primary. He will take on challenger Kelly Colegio. That's in the November general election. Fouts is seeking his 4th term. We do have detailed results of all of the local races on our website. Click on Detroit.com. Well, we could be headed into some great summer weather, but it will take a day or two to get there. So let's get to Ben to see where things stand this afternoon. Hi, Ben.
We're trying to hurry it up as much as we can, Karen, because we can see where that lower humidity is up to the north. 4Live radar, though, has been tracking some thunderstorms on the east side earlier this afternoon, and some of these got pretty intense, especially this one in southern parts of St. Clair County, right there at the Wayne County line. Rainfall totals don't look all that impressive when you smooth things out, but you look very closely at the raw data, and they picked up over 1 inch of rain in a very short period of time. We got reports of a lot of roads flooded out there on the east side earlier today. Temperatures falling into the 70s. Will get briefly less humid. Humidity actually comes back tomorrow morning before it goes away for good tomorrow. We'll look at that in your weekend in just minutes. Karen?
We do have some breaking news from Canada as the 2 teens accused of going on a killing spree last month are found dead in the woods. Royal Canadian Mounted Police said the bodies of Cam McLeod and Bryosh Mogelski were found today on the banks of a river near the town they were last seen. Right now, no word on the cause of death. That investigation continues. They are some of the most important officers on the force, yet the horses of the mounted units for the Wayne Sheriff's and Detroit Police Departments need the public's help to keep going. The mounted program survival is dependent on private support, and as Paula Tubman shows us, while they are effective at keeping the peace, they are equally critical to bringing peace to one local widow.
There's something important happening right now at the Wayne County Sheriff's Department mounted unit in Livonia. Simone Smith lost her husband, Sergeant Lee Smith, a year ago next week because of a careless disregard for life by a hit-and-run driver. Sergeant Smith did many things to protect our community, but as a member of the Wayne County Sheriff's Department mounted unit, he was completely in his element. And when Simone visits his beloved horses, it is with laughter, sadness, and hope, all of which converge into tears.
We love it so much.
The horses of the Detroit Police Department and Wayne County Sheriff's Departments are critical members of the force, but the departments can't necessarily afford everything that goes along with having mounted units.
So, for instance, the Detroit Mounted Unit is completely privately funded, other than the officers' salaries.
Facilities may not be as nice as they could be. The training for the officers who are there may not be as much as we would like it to be. I mean, there are things that we can always do to make their existence better.
And so the nonprofit Restore the Horse steps in to raise money for essentials.
These horses on a daily basis will need grain, hay, shavings, grooming, fly spray, shoeing, special therapeutic pads that they can use underneath their saddles because they're working on cement. So imagine yourself constantly walking the streets in cement in heels. On an average, it probably costs, I'm going to guess, about $1,500 per horse on a monthly basis.
And so this is where the public steps in. Right now, the Wayne County horses are housed at a small stable with a cramped paddock, but they never complain. They do their work, they deliver.
They need to have proper turnout. They need to be able to be in an area where we can work them. Currently, like Wayne County doesn't have an indoor facility to ride. All right, young lady.
And for Simone, who continues to nurse that gaping hole in her heart, her husband's presence feels near when his work continues.
He's smiling. He really is. He knows that we got it, and he knows we're going to take care of him.
Wow, very emotional there. You know, there's a lot of ways, or there are a lot of ways to dial in to help the mounted police and their horse. This is Ace here, by the way. So, for instance, this weekend, there's really this very cool event, Karen, where you can do a 5K. It's a non-competitive walk, or if you happen to have a horse, you can actually trailer it to Hines Park and ride a trail with the mounted police. That's one way to raise money. But also, you heard it here first, that there's going to be the start of a capital campaign for a new equestrian center named after Sergeant Lee Smith.
They most definitely need the help and the donations. We appreciate you sharing that story, and some very beautiful horses. We love it. Thank you, Paula. Still ahead, first at 4, a popular pizza chain is reportedly changing its business model, and 2 big retailers are closing more stores. Also, the case of the disappearing gold coins. Someone made a big mistake that helped some brazen thieves. And later, a new honor for Beyonce and a photographer who teamed up to make history in the world of fashion. But right now, we are watching a barricaded situation in Allen Park. Luana Avenue between Ecorse Road and Philomene Boulevard is closed. What you're seeing now is going on live, Sky 4 above the scene. This is what we know. Police say a woman armed with an assault rifle is barricaded in her home. Police say she doesn't have a phone, so they're trying to talk to her and coax her out of that house peacefully. They're using a megaphone. Her family is in the area trying to communicate to her as well. As we said, this is a breaking news situation. We are following this closely in the air and on the ground. We'll have updates on clickondetroit.com. Stay with us.